improvement already. I love it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're going. Okay.
All right, we are Peace, and I'm Mark Hutchins. Gingy's Jennifer.
Gingy Leggett.
And Jennifer Pregnant, excuse me.
Yeah.
And this is a key map showing our site here at the bottom in the purple. And you can see that it's 3 miles from, that's Will Rogers World Airport, 13 miles from the Central Business District in Oklahoma City, and then 18 miles from Tinker Air Force Base over here. And then we named it Will Rogers World Airport site because it's so close to the airport. You can see that it's outlined in purple over here in this aerial photo. It's 150 acres. It's only a quarter mile from this interchange here at 104th Street that you can see on the aerial. It is located within the metropolitan area of Oklahoma City, and it's also located within Oklahoma County. This is a zoom in of the aerial, and again you can see the purple outlining the site there. And then you can see here the utility lines, and we're going to get more into detail about the utility potential later on in the presentation. But you can see exactly where the lines go, and the natural gas, water, and sewer flow right by the site, so they're going to be easy to tap.
This is the aerial view of our property. Out the red is our actual property, and to the south are some other industry areas, and they're labeled. And then to the right is the golf course, and it's like a half mile away from our property, which is very beneficial. And this is a closer view, so you can kind of see what the what it actually looks like. And then this shows the it brings out blows up the tree view, just so you can see that there are no rivers and stuff. The only part that we might be concerned about is this area right here, and it's in the top right corner of the property. When it gets like really rainy, it might be wet in that area, and they didn't want a wet area. So, and this is the ingress and regress off the highway. On the top is the ramp off of Highway 44, and then if they just keep going straight, that's where our property is. And then the bottom one is the ramp onto the highway, and it looks like a good area for truck driving and stuff. It's nice and paved and everything. And this is the south access of our site. The roads are not nearly as good as the other ones, but they're still, decent. The top one is facing South Portland Avenue. That's where you would turn. And the bottom one, it shows both roads where they'd actually be turning. And this is a topographic map. It shows that we do have just only a slight incline, nothing too crazy. And this is the proximity of local restaurants. They're labeled and stuff. It's a pretty good, there's all different types of restaurants.
This is a checklist of the requirements that the client requested or the client required. And you can see that all meet the requirements, and there's some details over here. The only thing that we want to draw attention to are these two here, the power and sewer. There's already one substation, but the client requested a second substation. There is a second substation already in the works, but there's a possibility to fast track it. You're looking at like 3 to 6 months for that. And then the sewer is currently at a 12-inch, but an upgrade to a 24-inch like requested is possible. Again, about 3 to 6 months to fast track that.
And I'm going to talk about commuter times. This is a commuter traffic map. It shows our MSA of all of our counties. So it shows the percentages of people that are commuting from the various outlying counties into Oklahoma County. And Oklahoma County is where our site lies. So most of the people are coming in from, as you can see, like Canadian County, 63% are commuting in, and Logan County, 61% are commuting. Here we have our commuting times, the percent showing the percentages of the population and the average number of minutes it takes for them to come to into Oklahoma County. So when you have 30% of the population, it takes less than 15 minutes. You have about 40% of the population, it takes between 15 to 29 minutes. You have about 23% of the population takes between 30 minutes and an hour, and about 5% of the population, it takes more than an hour to commute.
Yeah, this shows the professional managerial versus manual labor in all the counties. As it's pretty obvious that the majority percentage is in the professional market, but there is a fair amount that's in manual labor. Our company will require more manual labor though. So. And then right here it shows county by county, it breaks down the manual and professional. And once it's broken down, it's easier to tell that there is actually a lot of manufacturing in comparison to professional stuff. So even though the other ones showed a bigger gap, it's really not that big, especially for Oklahoma County, which is beneficial.
And this shows the hourly earnings for engineers in Oklahoma City. This encompasses the whole MSA. And we want to pay close attention to Oklahoma County because that's where our site's located. And you can see that the average wages for engineers is significantly higher in Oklahoma County than the rest of the MSA. That can be a positive thing, but also a negative thing because you're going to have to be more competitive with your wages to your employees. And then this is very encouraging because you can see there's a significantly higher demand for engineers in Oklahoma County than the rest of the MSA. There were 48 openings in just one quarter of 2011. And so that's encouraging because you know that the market is already there in Oklahoma County for engineers. And then this shows the average wages for engineers. The only thing to pay attention to on here is that electrical engineers are going to be making significantly higher than the other types of engineers, mechanical and chemical, in Oklahoma City. And then again, this graph shows generally the same idea that electrical engineers are much more common than the other two types.
And we've included some statistics from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics showing what the percent of total employment is in the United States compared to Oklahoma City. Some of the, we gave you a sampling of some other occupations such as legal that may have some implications for our client, and also some occupational injuries that are specific, definitely specific to our client. As you'll see in the architectural and engineering industrial class, the percent of total employment in the United States is about 1.8%, and it's about 2% in Oklahoma City. You might also want to look at the construction and extraction, installation, maintenance and repair, and also the production industries, and also office and administrative support. It's not that, what you'll generally see with these statistics is that there's not a large employment discrepancy between what is generally happening in the rest of the country and in Oklahoma City. What we have here is the mean hourly wage between what the average is in the United States and also in Oklahoma City. Again, you might want to look at those same occupational classes. The architectural and engineering is about $36.32. It's a little bit higher in Oklahoma City. It's $38.85. We might also want to look at office and administrative support, which the mean hourly wage in the U.S. is $16.09, and it's a little bit lower in Oklahoma City. It's about $14.21. These are the top 10 private sector manufacturing companies that are currently located in Oklahoma City. We have Chesapeake Energy Corporation. It has its corporate headquarters here they're in Oklahoma City. It's a natural gas and drilling and exploration company. Also, you have Devon Energy Company, and as you can go see some others. And the top employers in Oklahoma City, as you'll see, are mostly natural gas companies. These are some businesses that have downsized in the last couple of years in Oklahoma City. They have been manufacturing companies. The last one to close was in November 2011, and that was Terex, which was a manufacturing company. We did notice that since, most of these closings are fairly recent, they're in the last like 2 years, there may be, a class of manufacturing employees that are there that are potential employees for our client. The top 2 engineering schools that are located in Oklahoma City are the University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. They all have, the University of Oklahoma has an aerospace and mechanical engineering program, as well as an industrial and systems engineering school. And Oklahoma State has an electrical engineering, a mechanical engineering, and an industrial engineering and management program. Primarily what we're gonna be looking at are 2-year, my focus for our client is for 2-year degree engineering employees. With the 2-year degree programs, if you look at this chart right here, the number of degrees awarded in the various specialties of engineering in between 2010 and 2011 are listed here. The total was about 218 degrees awarded last year in these various engineering disciplines. Generally, the state has a good retention of engineers. In 2006, there was about an 80% retention of engineers that graduated and remained in the state. And also, we have a degree, 2-year engineering degree projections. In the past 5 years, about roughly 1,100 degrees and 2-year degrees